Hello, quantum creators. Welcome to my channel. I want to talk today about alcohol and specifically how does alcohol takes us away from consciousness instead of making us free, and how people sometimes they think it's something innocent, it's something like 1 or 2 years or something social, but in fact this is actually really moving us away from consciousness. Um, so yeah, this is a part of a series I'm going to call The Foundation, since I believe are really interesting topics that of stuff I consider really obvious, but might not be obvious. So I would like to share an interesting story that for me was a breakthrough about the topic, and that doesn't mean I stopped drinking at that moment, but that really became something that I was noticing and paying attention to, my inner state before and after drinking. So this was 2019, and there was one day, it was my day off. I live and work in an island, in a small island, so my day off are really precious and really delicious. So that day I went to watch the sunset after work, and I turned my cell phone off, and I said to myself, okay, I'm going to stay 24 hours disconnected, and I am going to stay without a phone, and I'm going to turn on the phone tomorrow with tomorrow's sunset. So that day, I just remember like having a very nice day, resting well, of course, fasting, and I remember having a lot of synchronicities, like painting these mandalas and just feeling so connected and so into that flow magical state. And it was the afternoon, not yet the 24 hours. Let's say it was 2 o'clock, something like that, 2, 3. Um, and somebody who was like the person I used to like in the moment passed by to my door and say, hey, there's this party today in the sunset time. Do you want to come to the beach? It's a beach party. I say, yeah, that's so cool. Like another synchronization. I was like so happy and so like amazed at everything that how was going my day. And so I went to the party. I get there, I saw this guy, he was far away, he didn't like welcome me, nothing, I don't know. I understand now, but anyways, that's not the topic. Somebody else say, hey Linda, hello, how you doing? Nice to see you. Da, da, da. I say, you want to drink? And they share with me this, like, and I say, okay. And first I have one beer, and talk, this and that, and I had another beer. Exactly, I had 2 beers, which I think like 2 beers is nothing. People say, 1 or 2 beers is nothing. Well, for me, oh my god, for me it was a lot. I could see like my reality, because my inner state changed so much. So because my inner state changed so much, my experience of reality was so different. I started to feel like everybody watching at me, like all eyes watching at me, all the women looking at me like in a bad way, maybe with jealousy, and I was start to feeling like, what is she doing here? And I started panicking, and I wanted to leave, but at the same time, I wouldn't leave. And then because it got nighttime, and we went just to continue the party in other place, which was like more like a salon or something like that. And I just remember feeling so bad there, and so like bad, and just not wanting to be there. But because I was having in my heart how good my day had been, I was so confused. Like, what is this? What is this going on? Then that night I went to bed and I couldn't fall asleep. I remember flipping in my bed a million times, and having a lot of anxiety and regretting about drinking, and like really thinking, why did I do this to me? But at the same time, like, it was only 2 beers. But I was thinking, like, why did I do this to me? Why I had to do something that changed so much how I feel? I was feeling so well. So the next day, because I listen a lot of Osho talks and I read a lot of books, and I love Osho and all his teachings. So sometimes when I have a doubt or I want to know about this topic, I just put Osho and I put the topic. So that's what I did at the time. I put Osho and I put alcohol in Google. And really interesting show up. There's a website with all his books and all his conversations, like his talks. I was trying to find this talk again. I couldn't. But that's what I read. He says something about like when we are in meditative state and we will meditate, we go more into consciousness, and then alcohol takes us back, like we moves us away from consciousness. So literally this is what I read, but not with these words, and I don't remember the exact text, but basically he was saying something about like the gap between the meditative state and when we drink is so big that we just cannot process it because it's too much of a difference. So if we don't meditate or we are not like feeling that consciousness state, and then just we are in a normal regular life and then we go drink, okay, it's a little gap, we don't feel it. But when we are super meditative, super open, and then we go drink, the gap is so big, and our state freaks out. And that's exactly what happened. It's like, oh, that has so much sense. So after that, I really started to be more careful about when I drink, how I drink, and even I wanted. After that day, I stopped like a year. But then, of course, as social human beings we are, I was in other places and people share with me, and I just started to drink more consciously. And now I think about it, it's like what I learned with my mentor Mina about toggling. When we get a trigger and we go through the experience in a conscious way, that's toggling. That's what probably I done without knowing it. I just used to keep drinking, but being aware of what I'm doing and what's happening inside of me. After 2023, I had other experience that I didn't like with alcohol. Basically, alcohol made me do something that I wouldn't do sober, and that was the end point for me. Because I never been like super like drinking too much, but even 1 or 2 beers could remove like my judgment, right, of what I would do sober. I wouldn't do it with a drink, and because I didn't like that, I didn't like what I did, it's like, okay, I'm not going to drink no more, and that's what I did. And now every time a drink is presented to me, I truly don't want to drink it. I just like, no, I just love the way I feel. I love my inner state. I love my energy. I don't want to change that. So thank you. And it's so different, right? As I said in my previous video about repressing something and not repressing it, I believe I already lived all that I had to live, and I can fully choose to don't do it. Well, so that's from a spiritual standpoint, right? Also during these years, I've been just kind of seeing or watching reels that I don't know somehow show up in my feed. I don't use too much Instagram. I used to. That's why, like maybe that's why. But now I get the concepts as I understand, and everything has so much sense. So I started following Dr. Amen. And Dr. Amen, he talks about alcohol and what it does to our brain, and he has done brain scans and studied this. And he talks about like how alcohol affects the frontal lobe, which is like the part here in the top of our here in the front of our head. And this is like where impulse control is, with its judgment, where like emotional control, focus, a lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff. And the way I understand it is because it's the most evolved part of the brain, is the newer part of the brain in our evolution, is the part that makes us more human, is the part, what is human? Well, humans have consciousness. That's what we are separated from animals. Humans, I'm going to call also Stephen Covey for this, because I read in his book This and I Love his definition about freedom, which is the space or what lays between a stimulus and response. So humans, we have consciousness, we have a stimulus, and we can choose what we do, and we can choose our response. Animals, they don't really are able to do this. So this ability is is basically here. It's here. It's in the frontal lobe, and it's exactly what alcohol targets and numbs. And it numbs it in short term when we drink, and it numbs it also in long term. So people that are drinking, they have more problems with this stuff. And like, I don't want to lose my human abilities. And also, if I'm in the search of consciousness, if I'm in the search of just evolving and become more like connected to this part, why I would do something that takes me away from it? That has no sense. And I also personally believe that also because alcohol targets this part, like numbs it, people when they drink, they fall more into their animal instincts. That's why they just, for example, like alcohol is related to violence or to sex, or to do this stuff that are more like animalistic, right? It's just like, if you have the human part numb, then what we get? Well, we get the animal part more exposed. So actually, that doesn't mean we are becoming more free, even we think, because also inhibition is related to alcohol. Like it looks like we are more free because we have more inhibition, but at the same time, that inhibition is not like our ability to choose consciously. So actually, we are not getting more free. We are less free. We are more animalistic. So yeah, that's my experience. So that's what I like to share. And this is really obvious, and I see it clearly because also plenty of my people I'm surrounded, they drink a lot, and I see how they behave when they drink, and I see also their consciousness, and I see a lot of stuff, and I see this everyday emotion. So yeah, I would like to know your experiences, if you ever have experienced or you have ever seen or pay attention of how your inner state change when you drink versus you don't drink. And I would like also to know, like, if this has been hard for you or truly not, just to quit and not doing it, or if you are maybe a social drinker or just never do it, and if you understand the stuff deeply. Well, if you like the content, subscribe, give a thumbs up to the video, subscribe, and yeah, as I said, this is part of a series of videos I'm going to call the foundation, because are stuff that are really obvious for me. But so yeah, just set a precedence of my some of my pillars, the pillars I'm living my life now. I'm a 43-year-old. And yeah, just set a precedent on stuff that are like that. So I don't have also to maybe when I talk about something else, and this is like in the back. This is like the background of other kind of conversations. Like, there's no doubt that alcohol is like out of the table. All right. Okay, I hope you have a great day. See you later. Bye bye.